What's going on, babe?
Hey, babe, how was your day?
It was actually pretty productive. Happy to be home.
Good. You know we got a game today.
Mm-hmm.
Honey, you're a little rough around the edges.
I'm saying I've been working all night, taking care of business, getting to the... You know what? I don't even want to talk about it. I got you. I'm not trying to be out here looking like a dusty, and that's why I'm excited to have Tiege Hanley as a sponsor of today's video. They help me start and maintain my skincare routine by making the entire process uncomplicated. Honestly, it's the best skincare system for guys like you and me. I recommend you start with their level 1 system, which come with all of the basics. A daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. My favorite part about Tiege Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tiege Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price and the ability to customize your box. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description. You'll get 30% off your first box plus a free gift. Click the link and get started today. We're taking care of ourselves. Self-care, fellas, is the first step to be able to get to that bag, to take care of business, and be on top of things and level up in every aspect of your life. Feel the Tiege, my friends. I know y'all got that throwback today. I felt like doing a little bit of a throwback. What's going on? It's Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. That was the original Tiege Hanley commercial. That was the very first one. Sometimes we do a throwback. Sometimes we do a throwback just to make sure that we all in the building. What's happening? What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on? It's Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. It is Thursday, September 5th, 2024, year of our Lord. What up to my friends and my family? I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest on earth. Yes. Yes. Go and get it. Go and get that bag. What up? What up? What up to everybody in the chat? Go and do your thing. I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock with me. It is a good day. It is a phenomenal day. What up to Dan? What up to Sister? What up to Mike? Big Sucks, Eric, Yakar, everybody in the chat. What up? What up? What up to everybody that's watching this, that's in the clouds? You may not chat, but you just want to see what's happening out in these streets. What's going on with y'all? What's up to the daycare workers? What's up to everybody that's on the road with the truck drivers? What's up to everybody that's working from home? My Amazon workers, my plant workers, my UAW workers. Shout out to everybody that's in the warehouses, all of the contractors that's getting it. Shout out to the churches. Who else we got in here? The nurses. What up to everybody? What up? What up? What up? What up to my work from home, my homemakers, all of y'all, my fellas that's living a soft life. Maybe you a stay-at-home dad. I don't know. Shout out to my tech workers. Shout out to everybody in the building. I love you. I appreciate you. I have a phenomenal show lined up for you guys today. I had to go and stop at the place. Man, it's almost done. I can't wait to unveil it to you guys. It took longer than I expected. I was talking to one of the neighbors on the first property that we finishing up. They painting. Last day of paint today. Tomorrow they come in with all of the flooring. So it's great. And I was talking to one of the neighbors, and he was like, man, this went up so fast. And I was thinking to myself, it took a year to build this place out. So I don't know. It's great because I think that we'll expedite the process the next time because we found all of the contractors. We maintain good relationships. We paid everybody on time or ahead of time. And so everybody is happy. And so we're in a good space. And we built a good team. And it's a great learning experience. I'm not done yet. It's probably going to take me another 2.5 weeks. But it was a great learning experience actually building out my first property from scratch. The entire process of, purchasing a property, pulling the permits, negotiating with the woman that was a seller to go and buy 2 more properties, and going through the whole process of excavation and site prep and surveyors and roofers and plumbers and electricians and HVAC and all of these different things. So I learned a lot. I think that I spent a lot more than I wanted to. And I'm going to break all of this down on Patreon. So if you're not a bag chaser, if you're not a Patreon member, that is going to be exclusive. That is not going to be for everybody. That is going to be an exclusive live stream. I'm going to break down all of the numbers in a spreadsheet, what I went through, what I learned, what I overpaid for. Because I don't talk about stuff that I don't experience. I don't talk about stuff that I don't know. So when we go in a stock club and I break down a portfolio or I break down a stock, or when I talk about real estate or I talk about building a house now, so that'll be a part of the conversation that we'll have in a real estate thing. And I wanted to delay it and talking about that aspect of it. I wanted to delay the live streams that we started to get into in real estate because I wanted that to be a part of it. I wanted us to be able to compare and contrast. I'll show you and I'll tell you what the benefits are of building brand new. And I'll also show you what the problems are that go along with it. And so, I knew I was going to take a L on some things and I knew that I was going to benefit on other things, but I'm willing to invest in myself for the information. And then that's what I give to you. So, I know it's a lot of people, they go out there and they tell you whatever it is, this going on. Oh man, you can just go and get this. That's why they fly by night. That's why they disappear. That's why they sell you courses. I don't sell you anything. I'm just going to tell you what my life experience is. And then I'm going to let you make the decision for yourself. Because I want to teach you how to fish. I'm not here to just do it for you. I want to teach you how to do it for yourself so that you can then take the information, benefit from it, and then you can pass it on to your sons, your daughters. You don't have to depend on the federal government in order to ask for student loan forgiveness. I'm going to give you a real life education for $15. The thing that they don't teach you. See, the people that's in these universities, they teach it, but they never did it. All they did was read it in a book. This is real life, right? Real life hands-on experience. And then I could show you the real data and the statistics and compare and contrast because we actually live it. So if you're not a bag chaser, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Tiege Hanley is actually 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Gior, it's so funny that you say that because if you was a bag chaser and you seen what I made in corporate America, because I show those receipts too. See, that's the thing. Anybody can talk, but people, it's almost like the church, right? I kind of equate it to the church. And that I have criticisms of the church because I'm in the church. But very few people that has ever participated in what goes on, they can't speak to it because they've never actually participated. So the thing about it is that I've been having the bag chasers for years. And let me check the numbers right now. I'm going to see exactly how many bag chasers we got right now. Isn't it funny how you've never heard one person ever say that I finessed them, that, things is bad, that, I didn't give them value for their money? Yep. We over 9,300 people in the bag chasers right now, over 9,300. So I got the highest retention rate. Nobody ever says anything negative. You can't say that you didn't get value from it. I actually make real millionaires. So, and if you've ever actually came to a meetup, you'll realize that because there's some real chasers in the building. So shout out to the chasers. If you're not a part of the bag chasers, link is in the description. Only if you're looking to rock out with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. Also, make sure you tap into the Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos. And the bag chasers. And we rocking out. So shout out to y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I'm going to even tell y'all this because I can't wait to do the whole content creation mastermind. People on YouTube that have over 1 million subscribers don't make as much money as me on content creation. I know how to get the money out of that too. That's my specialty. I know where to find the money and how to monetize it. And so there's people with a ton of subscribers that don't get no money on this joint because they don't know what they're doing. They know how to create content. They don't know how to monetize correctly. So that's my specialty. Anyways, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon again. And then also Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Shout out to my girl, Miss Freckles. Says, my mind has evolved so much listening to Anton, and that's the blessing. You're not going to be able to take people that are dusty because it's a mindset first as to why they dusty and try to convince them to do the thing that's in their best interest. You got to let them fail. And then once they get to the point to where they have nothing left, then they gonna reach for your hand. And that's when you kick a little bit more dirt on them. You go ahead and kick a little dirt on them. Say, I don't want to talk to you. Shout out to Jeffrey Sutty Photography. Jeffrey Subtle Photography says, Anton, can you speak on Kamala not using her? And then you left that, so you didn't finish that statement. But thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate you. Mike That Dude is in the building. Shout out to Mike That Dude on Cash App. ESDC is in the building. Shout out to Easy Money. I appreciate you. And then I also want to make sure that I shout out to P. Shank, my first super chat of the day. Says, good morning, Mr. Anton Daniels and the Millionaire Morning Show. What's up, P. Shank? What's up, baby girl? What's up? How you doing? How you feel? Yeah, man, we got to work it. We got to work it. So, anyways, y'all ready to get started with the show? We're going to be entertaining, but we also going to extract the finances and money, so we got to put the medicine inside of the candy and make sure you turn this up. I promise I won't cuss, but I will be saying what I feel and feeling what I say. Let's get into it, y'all. First things first. Well, let me remove this. First things first, we got to get into Quick Hits, y'all. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that each individual segment deserves an entire segment dedicated to it, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop of what's happening out in these streets. First things first, Tiffany Henyard. So Tiffany Henyard apparently hired a new administrator, and she's under fire for that too. Check it out.
And I'm sure a background check was not ran on this individual.
Should there have been a background check?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
More drama in Dolton tonight as Mayor Tiffany Henyard's latest hire is now under fire.
Fox 32 has learned that Dolton's new village administrator has had multiple brushes with the law and was fired from a high school for allegedly sexually harassing a 15-year-old girl.
Dane Placco has the latest chapter in this ongoing Dolton investigation.
My next appointment will be for village administrator.
Tuesday night, Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard appointed a new top aide to a $100,000 a year job, 34-year-old Michael A. Smith, who's been active in South suburban politics for years.
The reason for Mike is he have a wealth of great information. He's a young person and ex-politician. He knows the laws like the back of his hand.
Perhaps that's because Smith has been in and out of trouble with the law for years.
I'd like to thank the residents as well as the mayor.
Public reporting shows Smith has been charged at least 8 times with crimes ranging from domestic battery to official misconduct. In 2012, Smith, then a young trustee in Dixmoor, resigned after pleading guilty to theft when he allegedly stole gasoline by posing as a police officer. Then in 2018, Smith was working as an assistant dean at Thornton Fractional High School when he was fired for sexual harassment of a female student, grooming a student with lascivious intent, and inappropriate aggressive behavior towards a male student. According to his termination letter, Smith was accused of contacting a 15-year-old female student on Snapchat with inappropriate comments and making her his girlfriend. Then earlier this year, Smith was fired from the Echo School District for falsifying information on your employment application.
We have a constant pattern of her hiring people without doing a proper background check and presenting it to the
You know that you have all eyes on you. Every single move that you make is going to be scrutinized, and you have to operate with the utmost level of transparency and respect, and you got to move a little bit differently. And we have children that are running our cities into the ground. Children are running these cities into the ground. And you know, I don't have no mercy on the people because the people are the ones that voted for or said that their vote didn't matter and they didn't participate in the election process. And it's so much to mine out from this. I might have should have did a whole segment on this, but let me say this. Let me just break it down from this lens. In 2024 and beyond, the reason why I made the decisions that I made in my life not to get involved in a bunch of nonsense is because for some reason I had the foresight. Not only was I just not a bad person, but for some reason I had the foresight of knowing that that thing could potentially come back to bite me in the future. Now, I didn't know that I was going to be a content creator, but I knew that I wanted to be the CEO, right? My goal was to work myself up in corporate America and then also be able to operate as a business owner. And so I know that at some point, what you did or what you got arrested for in the past is ultimately going to come back to bite you. I wanted a good job, and when they ran my background check, if I decided that I wanted to work for the federal government, if I wanted to go for a specific contract, I wanted to get into a certain level, I wanted to have the credentials to be able to take on that position. It's really just about options. And so when other people was doing certain things, I was just like, you know what? That's going to catch you a case, big dog. I'm not saying that you're not going to get rich, but I'm just saying that you're going to have to pay for that somewhere in the future by missing out on the opportunity. Now, from that lens, that's the person that's being hired, right? Because now can't nobody trust you. And your name is mud. On the other lens, it's like you as the mayor of Dolton, you are responsible for making sure that you do the background check because the person that you bring in is going to embarrass you and now you're going to look less credible to the people.
Board, and that's our issue. That could pose a great danger to our community.
Dolton trustees Brittany Norwood and Tammy Brown
is alarming.
Were not at last night's meeting when Smith was appointed. The 4 Dolton trustees opposed to Henyard postponed the meeting and say none of the action taken was legal.
It's very interesting, considering the fact that she didn't have a quorum. So I don't understand how someone could be appointed.
Smith is replacing Henyard's previous hand-picked village administrator, Keith Freeman, who fell out of favor after he was charged with bankruptcy fraud and is now believed to be cooperating with an FBI investigation into Henyard. But Freeman is apparently still on the village payroll and filling the job.
So can you have a second village administrator?
No. We don't have the finances for that.
Yo, listen, I think that Dolton is absolutely one of the funniest townships or cities that is being ran into the ground. So I'm going to keep that. I'll keep you guys in the loop of what's going on with regard to that because that's pretty hilarious. In other news, an NYC subway station leaves a man dead. Check it out.
Police are searching for a gunman who shot and killed a man at a Brooklyn subway station.
Good day's Briella Tomasetti is at the Rockaway Avenue station. It's in Ocean Hill with the details on this investigation. Briella, looks like they're still searching for this suspect. Good morning.
Yeah, they are. Dan and Zashani, good morning.
Hey, whoever the editors are for a lot of these places, y'all must got interns that's still in college or something because y'all really need to get these editors together, man.
To both of you, police, though, have identified the victim just this morning as 47-year-old Freddie Weston of Crown Heights. The search for the gunman, as you mentioned, still ongoing. Police say they're canvassing video from the subway station itself and from the surrounding areas with hopes that will help lead them to an arrest. It was another violent night in the transit system. This time, a 47-year-old man was shot to death at a subway station in Brooklyn.
I used to think that that was like a rite of passage for anybody that visited New York. You know, it's a few things that you got to do. When you first go to New York, and it's the first thing, your first time ever going to New York, you're going to want to go to Times Square. That's just usually what people do, and I think that people should do it because you need to act like a tourist in your own city. And you know the other thing that I hate when people say, you know, real New Yorkers don't do this, or real people that live in Miami, they don't go to the beach. You should. It's a good time. I know people that live in the city of Detroit that know nothing about downtown. And it's people that have lived here for 40, 50, 60, 70 years, and they know nothing about how to get around downtown. If you ask them, hey, man, what's to do in your city? They don't know. You know more than they do. I remember when I first visited Pittsburgh, and it was my first time there, and I stopped by a gas station, and I said, hey, man, what's going on with Pittsburgh? Like, is this a place to be? And he was like, why are you coming to Pittsburgh? Ain't nothing to do here. Next thing you know, we partying and raving and going to art shows, and I didn't realize that they had all of these phenomenal bridges, and then I drive into it, and it looked like it's carved out of a mountain, and they got casinos. And it has. We went to Permanente Brothers in order to get some food, and we was down on the main streets and all of that stuff, and it was a ball. I had one of the best times in my life going to visit Pittsburgh. And most of the time, the people that are local to a community, they don't know anything about the city. If you ask them something, they're gonna say, "Oh, I go to this little hood bar." You go home every day. You go to Walmart, you go home, and I think that more people need to be a tourist in their own city. But I digress. Let me get back over to this story. The thing about it is that you go to Times Square, you got to ride the subway, you go over to Brooklyn, you go over to Brooklyn Bridge, you go to visit these places, and it used to be a rite of passage as a visitor to go on the subway and stuff like that, get confused, go and get a little New York pizza that's really thin, you fold it up and you eat it like that, you know what I'm saying? And you go, I went and played chess in the park and all of this stuff, but now it's almost like it's becoming so unsafe that it's no longer a tourist destination. It's more or less you go there to see whether or not you're going to see anything that's violent. And so they got to get that together. They got to get their city together because it's not going to bode well for their economy, especially now that they're operating at a deficit. In addition to that, in San Francisco, a man was shot and then an 8-year-old was also shot in the head, but it's not what you think. Take a look.
Some breaking news there in San Francisco where officers are investigating a shooting in the city's Mission District. This happened just after 8:30 tonight at 17th and Mission, not far from the BART station. This is video from the scene from the Citizen app. Police say when they rolled up on the scene, they did find a man with a gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital with...
Somebody said, I ain't gonna lie, you like all of the weird cities in America. They're not weird, you just don't know about them. And so I visit the Miamis, but I go off the grid, and then because I lived there for over 4 months. And then I go to the stuff that people do on Miami Beach or whatever. Y'all just go to, listen, y'all what I like to say is hype beasts. Y'all just hype beasts. Y'all just do everything that y'all see on TikTok, or you do everything that everybody else do. I go and kick it, right? I take public transportation. I'll go visit Miami, and then I was surprised when I went and visited Biloxi. I went over to New York, and then I went to Milwaukee. I hit LA, and then I went over to Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? I'll go check out some random city in Ohio. I want to go and see this place over here and this place over there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't just go to the hype beast spots. You got to get off the grid. You got to go and visit stuff that's not just promoted to you because it's always gems and cities. And so I don't want to go based off of what I hear other people see or other people say, or because they just using talking points. I want to go and visit places that other people ain't never visited before. I want to see stuff that people ain't never seen before. You know what I'm saying? So I want to go see it for myself. That's what life is about. Life is about experiences. I don't listen to what somebody else says. I take it into consideration and I go and find out for myself. And then that's how I'm able to make an informed decision because I'm not a person that's easily marketed to. I'm a person that needs to find out for myself. So it's not that the cities is weird. It's just that you don't understand what it's like to really travel the way that real people travel instead of traveling based off of what you see on TikTok.
Life-threatening injuries. Police say they have not made any arrests at this time, and there's no word yet about what led up to those shots being fired. Also in the city, we do have an update on a shooting that left an 8-year-old girl injured. That girl was shot Friday night while at a home on Chicago Way near McLaren Park. San Francisco Supervisor Asha Safai now says that it appears she was accidentally shot inside the home. The 8-year-old siblings and their teenage friends were at the house at the time of the incident, but it's still not clear exactly what happened. The girl's brother initially said his sister was standing near an open window when she was hit by gunfire. The child is expected to recover. There's no...
Sound like the parents need to be held accountable for the fact that the kids was playing with guns inside of the house and wound up shooting an 8-year-old in the head. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. All right, let me read a couple of super chats, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. Jeremy H. says, thoughts on Harris's home builder plan? We'll talk about it. I got a little bit of, actually, we plan on talking about that tomorrow, and I might have the mayor of Harvey come on here because we've been talking back and forth with them. I know he was accused and compared to Tiffany Henyard, so I wanted him to be able to come on the platform and give his thoughts. So shout out to Jeremy H. Unbiasedly Raw says, Tiff picks employees like picking baby daddies. K Dizzle says, thoughts on Buffalo, New York? I've never been, but I'm looking to go. I heard it's really cold. And I seen y'all was trying to dig out y'all stadium when it snowed really bad. So I don't know. I can't wait to go visit Buffalo, New York. The only thing that I really know about Buffalo, New York is the Buffalo Bills and Griselda. But we going to go and I plan on visiting so many different cities inside the United States of America. I want to do both, traveling here around, and I also want to make sure that I travel. I mean, I still travel through Michigan. Like, a lot of people never been to Mackinac Island. A lot of people never been to Traverse City. They've never been to, some of the Indian casinos and stuff like that. They've never been out west over to Kalamazoo. And then you go over to Benton Harbor. A lot of people not familiar with Benton Harbor and what happens on that side of state. They only focus on the east side of the state, not the west side of the state. It's so much to see and visit. I just want to be a tourist forever. I want to be a tourist forever. I want to have my home city that I got, and then I want to just stay a tourist forever. So I love it. I love it. And you got to go at certain times. I want to go visit Martha's Vineyard at some point. I want to go to wine country. I want to see all of these things and experience it. That's why I spent a lot of money. I spent so much money educating my daughter and having her travel. She's traveled the world. She's been to all different places, all different states. She's been to like 17 different states, and she's only 16 years old. I want her to see things, experience, be able to take those comparisons and bring it back home, because the way that we grew up kind of in a silo, and that first we didn't have the social media era to even see and experience what other people were seeing. And we had to literally physically get out of our city in order to realize that the world is so much bigger than where it is that we was raised. So yeah, man, I can't wait to go. It's going to be so awesome. Let's go ahead and get into the show, ladies and gentlemen. So I kind of reported and gave a quick hit on this yesterday, but I want to revisit it. Not yesterday on the Millionaire Morning Show, but on my other channel. But I wanted to bring this to light because, for example, somebody, and I think that chat lives matter, so shout out to the people over here in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's getting their rocks off. Moderators, make sure that you don't censor anybody in the chat that's not being disrespectful. If they got a difference of opinion, then let them rock, right? We don't censor people. We don't want to live in an echo chamber. We love all opinions over here on the Anton Daniels channel and the Millionaire Morning Show. But I see somebody in the chat says, oh, you pushing more propaganda about this migrant crisis and stuff. Well, never mind the fact that we've been covering it for over 2 years. So we really have the data and the statistics, and we have real information. But I'll give you an example of why this is important for us to continue to mine out, because it's not just propaganda. This is something that's really happening in real life.
An illegal immigrant from Honduras is now behind bars after a massive manhunt in Indiana. Dimas Gabriel Yanez is accused of stabbing a 14-year-old girl while she was attending her younger brother's baseball game. The suspect was deported in 2018 and is linked to several other crimes across the United States. Matt Ramian was coaching the brothers' baseball team. He was on third base with a player, and he saw the whole thing and joins us now. Good morning to you, Matt. Thanks for being with us, and thanks for what you do for the kids.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. So tell us what happened. What did you see?
Well, I was just coaching a baseball game like I pretty much do all the time. And I'm on third base. I look to talk to my on-deck batter, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this dude just come out of behind my dugout. And all he did was just jump on this girl. And then he started to like push her down onto the bleachers. And then he pulls out at least a 16 to 20 inch knife. It wasn't even a regular sized pocket knife, and just started swinging it and got her a few times, and blood went all over the bleachers and on the people sitting in front of him. Then he just takes off running down the sidelines and started waving the knife at a couple other people as he was running. And then a bunch of the dads, at least like 10 to 15 dads, just go running after the guy and chased him all through the woods. And then like a 26-hour manhunt proceeded.
Can you imagine, just think about this for a second. Can you imagine you doing the most American thing ever? You're spending your weekends or your weekdays or after work. You go to work, you take care of business, you got a couple kids, you also, a part of the community. And so, you're a baseball coach. And so you volunteering and you're not getting paid for it, but you're doing the most American thing ever. You're spending time with the kiddies and you're coaching the little kids up and you're letting them have a good time. People probably having a picnic, soccer mom bands all in the stands or whatever. Little woman is probably gossiping about how they think that the man on second base look good, and all of this little stuff, right? And so you're doing normal American things. These are things that people used to do back in the day, right? And Indiana, of all places, I mean, if Indiana is not one of the most American cities/towns that I've ever seen, or states, I don't know what is. If you've never visited Indiana, you should. I went to Indianapolis. It's a convention city. You know what I'm saying? They got a phenomenal zoo. I rode bikes there. Another city that's off the grid that they probably saying is weird. And you look over because you hear a scream, and one of the 14-year-old girls has a Honduras illegal migrant that got the mange in his hair, and he's over there with a large knife, water whipping on her and stabbing her up. Let me say that again for the people in the back. You're playing baseball. An illegal migrant with the mange in his head, probably foaming at the mouth for all I know, jumps up with a knife and just automatically starts attacking a 14-year-old girl. Now, let me say this also, because we keep trying to make sense of the devil. We keep trying to make sense of the devil. The devil is not to be negotiated with because the devil makes no sense. And I know y'all don't think that it's spirits and principalities, but I'm telling you, I believe that is real. I believe that when you open a door up and you start to let people into your home, and I also say that your home is your home country, and it then just becomes available for anybody to do what they want to do and there's no standards whatsoever. See, you can't do that in another country. I don't care if it's a developed nation. I don't care if it's a third world country. I don't care what it is. If you go over to Mexico, either you're going to stay on a reservation, right? You're going to stay in the resort and just go to the tourist destinations. But the minute that you step off the beaten path and you start to get into it, guess what? You're going to do as Mexicans do. You go over to Japan. You adapt. You adjust unto their customs and their ways. You go over to Dubai. Get frisky if you want to over to Dubai. Go to Turks and Caicos. They arresting people and they throwing them under the jail. We think that we could take our American ways in other places and they'd be like, all right, I got something for you, big dog. This is the only place that I can think of on earth that you come in and you can do whatever you want to do. Don't matter if you document it. You ain't worried about getting deported. You ain't worried about nothing. You come over here and you just do what you want to do. Whenever you want to do it. What you say? I could pray in public on the train. Like, I'm going to you could just do anything you want to do. No standards, no nothing. So now what you see is people bringing their own demons and devils right across the border in with them. And now it's starting to be affecting other people's lives and our cultures and upsetting what you thought was very American. Now, America in less than 18 years, 20 years has changed from whatever the standards were that we set forth to whatever it is that anybody else want to do. Now, it's okay for them to be sassy, go into your bathrooms. That's not from here. That's not the ways that we were raised. That's not the biblical standards by which the laws was set forth in this country. And that's not what it is. We want to take God out of schools. We took prayer out of schools, right? We took them off of our money, or at least we trying to. We trying to remove "In God We Trust." We don't even believe in God no more because everybody else said, we don't want to. There is no standards here. And so you got all of these different ways and so many different people with different tongues coming in here, right? Most of them don't even speak English because there is no vetting process. There is no requirement. There is no standards. There is no law that they got to abide by. And they can come in and not only are they coming in and kicking your butt, but they also coming in and they're being incentivized to do so. They're getting paid to do so. They're getting paid to do so. And so you trying to make sense of it. Why would he do that? That's not something because they ain't from here. They don't think like you think. They ain't adapted to the way that you move. You didn't set the standard and require them to continue to do what you're doing. They setting the standards and saying, you adjust to me, you move around me. So they just come in and they do what they want to do. I came in Arizona, I want a bus ride up to Chicago. Chicago said, oh man, they overwhelming us. Where you want to go? Bus them over to Indiana. Just ship them anywhere they want to go. So there ain't no standard. So now, all of this residual effect is now affecting this young man and these people. And then you look up and now you got somebody with the mange on his head just stabbing some 14-year-old girl and then running off into the woods. Now it's got to be a 24-hour manhunt. Get out of here with that nonsense, bro.
My goodness. I mean, we see behind you, it's a field. This is an all-American thing that we all do this on a Saturday. We go to our siblings' baseball games. You don't expect crime to happen there. Why in Indiana is this happening?
That's the question everyone's been asking, you know? I mean, it's a small town. I mean, Lowell is one of those little close-knit towns. They have a big Labor Day weekend, like festivals. They have a music festival. They have fireworks shows, parades, every day something different. And, you know, it's one of those towns where everybody knows everybody. So, I mean, for something like this to happen was...
Somebody said this is crazy. None of those men had guns? Who? We had a Little League baseball game, fam. This is Cheers, where everybody knows your name. Like, you're not expecting for some monster to just jump out the woods and go, and what you gonna do? You gonna shoot him while he's stabbing a girl? Come on, man. Think through it.
Shocking, just not for Lowell, but for all the communities around them.
Yeah, what are they saying about this illegal migrant? Was he on drugs? What would make him just run and jump on this young girl?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. Nobody has an answer. You know, the detectives and I think now it's in the DEA's hands. So they're, you know, investigating every possibility on who, what, where, and why. I mean, the last I heard is he just took a train from Colorado and ended up in Indiana. I don't know where he was going or...
So he came over from Denver. So he came over from Denver and then somehow, some way got paid to come over to Indiana. Now your 14-year-old is under duress.
He decided to be, I guess, like a drifter and cause havoc at a baseball game.
Yep, this just proves it's not a Texas problem. It's not an Arizona problem. This is happening all over our country in small towns. How's the young girl doing and how are the players doing? Because I understand they were traumatized.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you can only imagine how they feel. I mean, me witnessing it as an adult, it kind of shocks me. I mean, it puts you in a different perspective. You know, you change your views on a lot of things. The girl, she's doing very well. I mean, she ended up getting out of the hospital. She's, you know, being a trooper about it. She actually went to school. Her mom told her she didn't have to go to school if she didn't want to, but she wanted to be strong and she wanted to have a day at school. So, I mean, that tells you a lot about her character. And all the boys were kind of shocked. You know, they're all strong kids. I mean, they're only 12 years old, but at the same time, I mean, something like that happens. I mean, it's something that adults shouldn't.
DoorDash driver mama, shout out to the DoorDash driver mama. You said, Anton, do you carry? I don't have no choice. I wound up getting my CPL, concealed pistols license. I went to the classes and stuff like that, but and then I got a renewal. But one of the reasons why I did that is because when I built my first restaurant, unfortunately, and I hate guns. I absolutely hate them. I've come to realize that I have to exercise my amendment and my rights in order to do so because I got to protect my family. And I don't only carry, I also be having security with me most places. And then I also have taught, you know, Rita, you know, and so she got her CPL and everything like that. And she goes shooting and everything. But I hated it growing up because it was something that I was involuntarily introduced to when I was a young kid, right? Growing up in the hood, inner city of Detroit, you know, you're going to see guns everywhere. You're going to see people sneaking them into to school and stuff like that. Even as an elementary school, I was like, man, I don't like this, bro. Like, because I don't like a representation of that, especially that early in life. So I grew a disdain for it earlier because it was so much inner city violence that was going on. But then I you know, kind of came to the conclusion, obviously, that I had to be safe. I don't do it because I want to. I don't do it because I think that I'm tough. I do it because I feel like it's necessary in these times to make sure that you're protected and always strapped up. And so I don't miss. I don't miss. The one time that you miss is the one time that you get got. The one time that you miss is the one time you get got.
See, but I mean, for these kids to see that just makes it a little bit harder and makes you a little bit more emotional for them.
Yes, yes. I understand she has, you know, big medical bills now. She was stabbed in the hand and she's also going to need counseling. Some of the other kids might need counseling. So I know you can go to Fox.
Absolutely.
You can go to foxandfriends.com if you want to give money to that.
So, yeah, man, I wish the best for the family. I hope that everything works out for them, but, you know, it's bad. It's absolutely horrible. And the trauma that comes along with that and seeing that. Them kids can't unsee what they saw. They lost their innocence on that day. On that day, when they was out there for a baseball game and he was at third base, they lost their innocence that day. Their cherries was popped with violence. And so, you know, I think that kids should grow up to be kids because the world is already going to kick their butt once they get into it in the first place. But to have it introduced to you like this is absolutely wild in my opinion. But make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats, and we're going to continue to rock throughout the show. J-Rock24K says, we do go to the beach, just not South Beach. If you go to South Beach and get in the water, locals know you're a tourist, and you will get robbed. Shout out to J-Rock24K. I've never seen anybody get robbed on South Beach. Marriage, Politics, and Sports says, went to university in Buffalo. They have a black mayor. It's one blue city that has not turned to pure crap. Of course it has bad spots. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. JP says, did you see NYC urologist sexually assaulted over 300 men and suing? No, I haven't seen that. Send that to me. Email it to me. Night Jade says, I polled my Facebook about this. Mo said, let them all in. Really? Mo said, let them all in. We need more people to live in the hood. Protect your hood is number one. World War III is there. Jesus Christ. I don't know what's wrong with these people. Christopher Davis says, I live in Indiana and the migrants have replaced the majority of the homeless beggars at stoplights. Shadow Dragon TV. Arkham inmates running amok, endangering children, and the current administration is harboring them. The parents voting for Harris. Is this what you want? Tack Smith is in the building, says, don't know how they do it in Indiana, but we carry everywhere in my town. Might not have been able to stop the first one, but could stop the next. Shout out to Tack Smith. Shout out to everybody that's supporting the platform. I appreciate y'all. Let's continue over with the show. Let's move over to Georgia. I was absolutely heartbroken at this story. Absolutely 100% heartbroken at this story. It was a shooting that I believe claimed the lives of 4 victims, 2 teachers, 2 students. Over in Georgia, no, not Atlanta. Atlanta is not the center of every single thing. It may be the biggest city inside of Georgia, but it did not happen in Atlanta. I heard that it happened outside of Atlanta. And so we're going to take you over there in order to give y'all an update on what's happening in the most local or the most up-to-date news on it. What's happening here? The most up-to-date news on it, and then we're going to mine out, and I'm going to give y'all my thoughts afterwards.
And that's where we're going to begin, with a lot of hurting hearts and a lot of hate, it seems, in this country. It's happened again in another American community reeling from deadly gun violence. Here's what we know so far. It happened at Appalachia High School, that's in Barrow County, Georgia, about 45 miles east of Atlanta. Investigators say that a student opened fire, killing 2 other students, both of them just 14 years old, and 2 teachers. The weapon was an AR-style rifle. 9 others have been hurt, and the alleged killer is also 14 years old. His name, we're told, is Colt Gray, and he is now in custody. He has been charged with murder, and prosecutors say that he will be tried as an adult.
This is the deadliest school shooting in Georgia's history. 14-year-old Marquez Coleman saw the shooter open fire.
I'm sitting like this, and the door is like this. So something just told me to look to my left. I look to my left. I see a kid with he had like a big gun, it was like an AR. With he got his head sticking out the door with the gun, and then he just started. Then I got up, I started running. He started shooting like 10 times. He shot at least 10 times, and then I ran to the back of the classroom. I dived behind the desk, and my teacher had got in front of me like he was guarding. But like the gunshots were so close to me, like my ears started ringing real bad. Like the whole classroom was smoking, like and everything. And then when he finally got out of the classroom, my teacher started barricading the door with desks and bookshelves and all that. And then I had got up. When I had got up, I had saw one of my classmates on the ground bleeding so bad.
Marquez's father said his son called him during the shooting screaming and crying. Later, he found a bullet hole in a laptop marked by a bullet in his son's backpack. Mark Strassman is in Barrow County, Georgia with the latest. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Nate. The FBI now says that local deputies questioned the suspect and his father last year. The reason at the time, online threats to carry out a school shooting by the suspect, who was 13 years old at the time. But the father told deputies that his son had no access to guns in the house. The suspect denied making those threats at the time, and so there were no arrests until yesterday.
Jesus Christ. Some of y'all tune in on Monday nights, right? And some of you guys have been tuning in on Monday nights for a long time. And I believe maybe a couple months ago, it might have been 2.5 months ago, I did a panel where it might have been a little bit older than that, but I did a panel and we were debating about teacher safety. And I'm not sure why we use that subject or where that came from, but we were talking about teacher safety. And I was saying, and my stance has always been, that teachers should be able to carry inside of their classrooms. That teachers should be able to carry inside of their classrooms. And boy, was I berated and told that I was wrong, and no, it shouldn't happen, and that shouldn't be a thing, and teachers shouldn't be able to carry inside of their classrooms, and all of this, so on and so forth. And so, okay, so let's assume that y'all don't want teachers to be able to carry inside of the classrooms. Okay, cool. So what's the alternative at this point? Just asking for a friend. Just asking for a friend. What's the alternative at this point? Considering that monsters are waiting at the door. We know parents are not doing their job. We know parents is not on top of it. We know that that's not a thing, right? What's the alternative? Just curious. Want to know what y'all think. What's the alternative?
First responders rushed to Appalachia High School around 10:20 Wednesday morning after getting reports of an active shooter. Investigators say 2 school resource officers quickly encountered a 14-year-old student with an AR platform-style weapon inside the school. They say he quickly surrendered.
When this shooting began, they interacted with the shooter, and as soon as they made contact with him, he gave up immediately.
The sheriff credits a fast response to school faculty. They alerted law enforcement to an active situation using a button on ID cards, a new system he said had been in use for only about a week.
The heroes that we need to remember is our faculty and staff here at this school. They acted admirably. The protocols at this school and this system activated, prevented this from being a much larger tragedy than what we had here today.
Investigators say the shooter killed 4 people, including 2 students, 14-year-old Christian Angulo and Mason Schermerhorn, and 2 teachers, 39-year-old Richard Aspinwall and 53-year-old Christina Ermy. 8 other students and 1 teacher were taken to hospitals with gunshot wounds and other injuries and are expected to survive.
What was going through your mind?
I was scared because I didn't know if my mom was informed. I was crying. I was scared I was going to die.
Melanie Alvarez says she hurried from the bathroom room when a school alarm went off.
You really thought this could be it?
Yeah, because we heard banging the first time, and then we heard somebody yell, get down," to somebody outside of the hall, but we didn't know who it was.
Single file line down this aisle right here at this deputy.
After catching the suspect, police say they went class by class.
We got a whole school to get evacuated.
Evacuating the roughly 1,900 students to the football field to reunite with their parents.
Could have been me.
Freshman Ariana Carter said police escorted her down a hallway where shots had been fired.
We, of course, see like the blood and stuff from them, and they have it like dusted off, so like it's kind of covered, but not really. There's a shoe that was bloody on it.
Love will prevail over what happened today.
Wednesday night, hundreds came together for a vigil.
I just felt like I needed to be here.
What's the alternative? What's the alternative? I'm curious. What's the alternative? I'm going to tell you like this, and I'm going to be real with you. And I already found that I know exactly when we live streamed it and everything. And I'm not going to play it right here as far as that debate. But I'm going to just tell you like this. I remember as a kid. Now, you got to remember I'm 42 years old. And this is still happening today. It's not happening in mass, or it didn't happen in mass the way that they're doing it now, right? But I remember personally that we had metal detectors. Right, we had metal detectors. I was at the old one. I think they got metal detectors at the new school because they tore the old one down and they built a new one. And I went to one of the best high schools inside of the city. And I remember personally, guys used to sneak pistols inside of the school, sneak them in through the windows. You know what I'm saying? It was always a way. It was always a way, or they would come in late, and then they would come in through a back door where it wasn't metal detectors. Anything. Come in through the gym door, whatever it was that they needed to do. I remember dudes used to be having pistols inside of the school all day long. All day long. So think about this for a minute. 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-olds are strapped. Strapped in school. And you helpless. And y'all talking about a security guard? A security guard. I remember dudes' lockers getting raided inside of the school. And we went to one of the better schools. Now, a lot of those schools out there, they don't even have the same security measures. They don't even have metal detectors and all of that stuff. How many more parents, how many more teachers, how many more students got to die before we actually start the solution for it and stop just saying, well, you know, we just going to pray. And please miss me with this assault ban, gun control stuff. I don't want to hear none of that stuff. I know that that's the liberal way of thinking, and that's the way that y'all think is just going to solve for it. But let me tell you something. When people have an objective, that's what they're going to execute on. And when you take away the right of real people, of real citizens, of being able to protect themselves, then that's when absolute chaos consumes us.
We have developing news this morning. A 14-year-old boy from Georgia now stands accused of shooting and killing 4 people at his high school, and he's going to be transferred to a youth detention facility today.
Sheriff's deputies say he went on a rampage, injuring 9 others. KTLA's Eric Spellman in the newsroom.
Can't wait to hear Kamala Harris's thought on
Morning,
this.
Megan. Morning, Chris. This 14-year-old boy had been on the FBI's radar for more than a year.
He's on FBI radar.
Say he had posted threats online before, and yesterday authorities say he showed up at his high school with an AR-style weapon and opened fire.
Be with us, bless us, and walk with us each day as we go forward.
A minister tries to console a community. Young people pray and grieve and cry. They light candles and leave flowers outside a school. It is the aftermath of yet another school shooting, this one in Winder, Georgia, 50 miles northwest of Atlanta. It happened during second period at Appalachia High School. Witnesses say the 14-year-old student...
Has anybody got a picture? Because I looked up this Colt guy. I think his name was Colt Gray. I looked up this Colt Gray guy, and I have not been able to find a picture of this young guy at all yet. So if anybody find a picture, I'm going to stay on top of it.
Identified as Colt Gray, left his algebra class and then came back armed with a rifle. He tried to walk back into class, but the door was locked. At that point, he began shooting in the hallway, killing 2 teachers and 2 students. Ultimately, he surrendered to school resource officers and was arrested. But for what seemed like a very long time, students throughout the school heard the gunfire and took shelter under their desks.
It's going to sound like a long time all the time. Of course it's going to sound like a very long time.
I was listening and you could hear gunshots like just ringing out through the school, and like you're just wondering like which one of those is going to be somebody that you're like best friends with or somebody that you love. And it's like it's really like a terrifying thing.
So in case you're wondering, it's not a drill.
Cell phone video recorded by a student shows what it was like inside a classroom during the lockdown. You can hear the girl sobbing in fear. Now, the 4 people who were killed were identified as 39-year-old Richard Aspinwall, a math teacher, and another teacher, 53-year-old.
So he definitely made sure that he diversified. He got the white woman, the white man, the black student, and then he got Christian Angulo. He definitely had diversity, equity, and inclusion in his execution style.
Christina Irimi, as well as 2 14-year-old students, Mason Schermerhorn and Christian Angulo. Schermerhorn is described by friends and family as a lighthearted kid who liked reading, telling jokes, playing video games, and visiting Disney World. As for the suspected killer, the FBI says in 2023, Georgia police went to his home after he'd made threats online. They interviewed the boy and his father. The dad said there were guns in the house, but he told cops his son did not have unsupervised access to them.
They conducted an investigation at that time, and there was no probable cause for arrest or to take any additional law enforcement action.
However, one of the suspected shooter's classmates says she thinks law enforcement missed the signs that should have shown them the young man was violent and dangerous.
The lives that were taken here today, all the students that died, the teachers that died, all the students that...
Somebody says Anton, the boy is 14, so maybe they omitting the picture of him because it's not found. Yeah, but here's the key, though. They showing all of the victims' pictures. They showing the kids that got killed. They showing the grown folks that got killed. Why we try to... Man, listen. That little punk was old enough to go and carry an AR-style weapon inside of the school, and then he had the balls to actually pull the trigger, not once, not twice, but at least 4 times on 4 different people taking lives. So you telling me that we still being overly sensitive about making sure that we're protecting his image because he's still a minor? I don't understand. Where did they show him? Somebody told me that they showed him already. Where? Where is the picture? Somebody email it to me. I'm looking for the picture. I looked it up. I don't see it. They got pictures of the victims. Is this the boy right here? No, they're not creating t-shirts with this boy's name on it, right? Is this the boy right here? No way that this is him. No way that this is him. I got a picture. All right, not him. Some people saying yes, some people saying no. Some people saying yes, 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 no. That's him. No, yep, no, yep. Okay, so that was a student that attended. All right, y'all, that's not him blonde here. That's the kid from Oklahoma. All right, so we're going to figure it out. I'm going to find out what it is. I'll find out more information, and then I'll update you guys and see what's going on, because I like to actually find the facts out before I say that it is or it isn't. So I'll find out more information, and then I'll go from there. Until then, let me post this. Let me show y'all one more video of an eyewitness. I don't want to talk about this no more. I'm done with this. It's disgusting. It's just absolutely disgusting. I don't even want to talk about this no more.
Faith, please, the floor is yours once again. Talk to us. Who do you have with you, and what more can they tell us?
Well, Kara, we're hearing more harrowing details about what happened inside that school early this morning, as you were just detailing there. We have with us Alexandria Romero. She's a sophomore, and you said you actually heard the gunshots. You were in second period at the time. Tell me what happened.
I
I was in the hall next to it. So I heard it, but it was very like vaguely, you know. So the teachers came in and they were like, everybody get on the floor, cover yourselves. Like we were all like hugging each other. So we were all like, it was a small little ball of us like all holding each other. And I remember like my friends crying. They were all scared. And then 2 police officers came in with their guns. Telling us not to move, that it's still not safe. And we were in that classroom for like 10 minutes before they even let us like go out. When the time was finally up, we went to the hallway that it happened in, and that's when I saw like my math teacher, and he was all covered. I saw blood everywhere. It was sad.
And you've shared videos with us showing the hallway where you guys were walking as you were evacuating. Describe, our viewers can't see the video right now, but describe to us.
Yeah, that is crazy. Homeboy in the back, he got tattoos all over his arm, cornrows. What the hell y'all got going on in Georgia?
What you just showed us in those videos.
It was basically my math teacher, just a white cover with...
Dude got tats on his arms, though.
It's on top of him, but in the video, like, y'all about to see, it's like a blood there, but it was really quick. Like, everybody was in a rush trying to get out.
And of course...
This is crazy, bro. This is absolutely insane. So, again, prayers up for the families, prayers up for the victims, prayers up to everybody that's affected by it, prayers up to everybody that's a part of that school. Because now this school and this whole shooting is going to be memorialized. That's one of the worst things that happened. But we never have any real solutions as to what's going on. Some of y'all said that y'all sent a picture to my email. Let me see something. Give me a second. Y'all sending me 2 different pictures. All right, y'all sending me multiple emails, but I can't tell which one is actually the real person. I don't know what that is. So y'all sending me multiple emails, and I'm getting all of this stuff, but I can't tell what's what. So I'm going to just hold off and wait until I find out whether or not it's actually him or not, and then we're going to go from there. All right, so make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go from there. AJ says, did you hear about it? The Arab that killed the Arab cop and ran his can into Galveston Bay? No, I ain't hear about that. Send that to me. Email me. Zach says, Gotham City is the whole country where Batman... All right, look like you forgot to add the rest of that. No Excuse Lifestyle Rocky Cage says, what up, AD? Bag chasers is a perfect word. I spent 10 years van living after my breakup. I've done Uber Eats as a side hustle while working full-time job for several years. Now I'm 45 and close to retiring. Salute. Shout out to the bag chasers that's winning and running it up and getting to that money. Make sure y'all join the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to Rocky Cage. Annie Marie says, I got this super sticker for you. Thank you, Annie. I appreciate you. Eric Harris says, why did they let the child speak on his heartbreaking to listen to a baby tell this story? Nope. We need to know what's going on. We got to let them tell it what it is. Aaron Good says, both of my parents and my granddad served in the Army. I was raised to respect guns. Good people with guns is the only way to keep the community safe. I agree. Rocky Cage says, add to the first chat, now currently, for the past year, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment in Columbus, Ohio, and shout out to you. Shout out to you for doing the work. Scooby Donna's in the building, says, here come the Dems with the ban. AR-style rifles, they are too dangerous. They need to change. They need to charge the dad, too, for his negligence. I wonder if it was a mother in the home, too. Turtle Island Jr. says, I'm partially homeschooling my kids in the future. Interesting. E. Davis says, even some of the females were strapped at calves. You know what it is. Al Green in the building says, what up, though? What up to all of my Detroit brethren? Says, I grew up on 7 Mile and Evergreen. I attended Emerson, and we had metal detectors at 6th grade. I didn't have metal detectors in my elementary school. For the record, my AR stands for Ascending Rising. Shout out to you, AR Smitty. No Lames TV says sent this pic to your email. I got to confirm if that was him or not. Green Blaze, the Fly Eagle says, my prayers to the victims. I think my cousin went to that school. Oh yeah, prayers to the victims, prayers to everybody that's a part of it. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Yeah, I seen that. I see it. I want to confirm before I actually show his picture, so I'm going to just be a little bit more careful with that. I'm going to be a little bit more responsible. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's move on with the show, y'all. All right, Fani Willis. One thing that I know, two things is for sure, is when I can spot a chick that's for the streets, I don't care what position that she holds, the streets is calling. When I spot a woman that is for the streets, I don't care what position that she holds, the streets is calling. So let me preface this conversation by giving y'all a breakdown because we covered her extensively. Now, some of y'all may not know who Fani Willis is if you're new to the channel. Well, let me bring you up to date. So Fani Willis is the Fulton County District Attorney. And she's also the prosecutor or the person that's overseeing the prosecution of Trump's election case, the 91 charges filed against him in Georgia. What's interesting about that, and I often mention this, is that both her and the mayor of Atlanta went and visited the White House prior to filing those charges. And I'm trying to understand, well, why did they go and visit the White House largely unannounced? So it wasn't any real event that was happening at the White House, but it says that they met with the vice president, who is now the person that is running for president of the United States of America. And this is public information, so this is not something that I'm trying to confuse you guys about. This is something that's real. No conspiracy theories, no nothing. They have to document and record everybody that comes into the White House and for what reason, and that's what it says. It says to visit the vice president, and that story was largely swept under the rug. Now, I don't know why. I don't know what type of reach and what type of power they had over these national networks in order to prevent them from being able to have this conversation, but the top was blown off of it when Fani Willis was starting to be investigated by getting with Nathan Wade. Now, Nathan Wade, follow me here, because before I show you this video, I need y'all to understand what's going on. Nathan Wade was the boy toy. Well, how do we know that it was the boy toy? Nathan Wade was going through a divorce. Always a divorce. Always a lack of discipline that is going to blow the rooftop, even all the way up to whether or not you are actually accurately prosecuting the president of the United States or the former president of the United States of America. But they tried to seal his divorce filing. And so while he was over there married, he started getting involved as a lawyer with Fani Willis. Now, we've already proven that he wasn't really qualified for the position. However, he had an inappropriate relationship with his boss. His boss was writing the checks. He was submitting invoices. It was saying that he was working 24 hours a day sometimes. Like, how are you submitting invoices and you ain't even sleeping? You're not even sleeping? So he made $600,000+ in one sitting working for Fani Willis. But how do we find this out again? Is because his wife discovered that he was having an affair with his boss. And so we didn't know if he was busting it down for a bag, or if he really fell in love with her, or what. But they had to unseal the divorce documents. He wound up expediting his divorce. And then they got on stage in order to testify because we wanted to know whether or not they were really, really up for the task and if they should have been the ones that even prosecuted this in the first place. And so he was defiant and he said that, listen, I don't mess with her no more because she doing a little bit too much. And then she jumped on the stand and she was all sassy in her pink Amazon dress. And she said, yeah, he a Southern man and he think that women is this or whatever. And so it turned into a misogyny debate or a narcissistic debate. And then they said that they went their separate ways and they were no longer together. So you can only imagine what my mouth was doing. That sounds crazy. What my mouth was doing because I was just in awe. What? When I found out that both of them pulled up, that sounded crazy. I give you that one. I know y'all gonna get me on that one. When both of them pulled up as a result of her daughter being arrested for driving on a suspended license. Now, when y'all first sent me this story, don't laugh. When When y'all first sent me this story, I said, I'm not going to report on it because I don't really care that her daughter is getting arrested. That don't have nothing to do with Fani Willis herself. But then when I looked a little closer, I said, wait a minute, is that Nathan? Is that Nathan? Why y'all all saying pause in the chat? So anyways, without further ado, while y'all over there making a big deal of what I said about the mouth being open, let's get into the video. The video of what happened with the daughter, and then her and Nathan pulled up. Now, what did I tell y'all was a baby mama starter kit? What did I tell y'all? Listen, I know that I'm accurate. Y'all tried to act like, oh no, Anton, you just stereotyping. You know what I'm saying? The chicks with the middle part bust downs and, you know what I'm saying, that's doing a little bit too much. They be speeding, driving without a license, going over there, flying over there to Tulum all the time. No, Anton, that's not true. What's she driving? Black women love. I think that Nissan sold more Altimas to black women than anybody else in the world. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with that car and why y'all love it so much. But I'm trying to tell you, black women love Nissan Altimas. And I don't know what it is about that car. I don't know what it is about that car. I don't know why every single time I see a black woman is getting arrested on the side of the road. Let me go ahead and play this. I don't know. Listen, usually the back bumper or the front bumper is hanging off. So I can't see that the front bumper is hanging off or not. But for some reason, Nissan did a special. They did a DEI special. If you are a black woman,
hours, probably,
you can get the best discount ever on a Nissan Altima. Okay. You get employee pricing. Did Oprah give them out on her show? You get an Altima. You get an Altima. Why are Azriel, did you have an Altima? 14, show me that problem, you know. I said Nissan got a thing for people with less than stellar credit. So anyways, she stopped by the Georgia police and she got pulled over. And so she's being arrested as a result of it. When y'all first sent me this story, y'all said she got arrested for drunk driving. That's why I like to do my own research. But let me fast forward to when Nathan Wade went pulled up. No need to see all of this. Having a good old time.
Hey, how are you? Doing well. How are y'all?
Excellent.
Mom, Dad, what's the...
Just a friend, yeah.
Okay.
Connie, nice to meet you.
So, Corporal Clark.
Nice to meet you. What?
So, apparently,
Nice to meet you.
Apparently her...
What do we have here, ladies and gentlemen? So wait a minute. Y'all said that y'all was no longer together. They said that they were no longer together. That's what they said. She dissed him, he dissed her. So wait a minute. Are you playing the role of a step baby daddy, Nathan? What they told us, ladies and gentlemen, they said out of their own mouths, on the stand, under oath, hand to God, I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. They said it. He had his suit on. She had her Amazon dress on. They said that they promised to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And so you telling me that when your daughter get arrested and the person that you pull up with is Nathan and Fani sitting in a tree. Kissing. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby with the baby carriage. Yay! They know that they got body cameras, don't they? Isn't she the prosecuting attorney? They didn't think that this part was gonna get out. Jesus Christ. Let's see the interaction, and then I'm gonna give y'all my thoughts.
Her license is suspended.
News to me, okay.
For something. Doesn't tell us what for or why or where. Or that's something she's going to have to call DMV and find out. Okay. Probably what happened, she had a speeding ticket. Some kind of traffic infraction, never went to court, didn't take care of it. Okay. That's the best guess. So she's gone over to Fayette County Jail, which is right into Fayetteville Square. It's 145 Johnson Avenue. Yeah. Normally, I would say a couple hours is the process. It just depends on how busy they are and like that, okay? The driving on the suspended is basically a traffic citation. She's got to have her fingerprints done and picture taken, then she can make her bond. You can pay it cash, use a bondsman, be 10%, whatever. They've got a list of people over there, too, that you can choose from and use, whatever.
Where was she stopped?
So the vehicle's...
What you involved in this for? Nathan. What you doing, big dog? Hey, all right, I got a question for everybody that's out here in the streets and everybody that's in the chat that's watching this. I got a question for y'all, all right? Can you be with a woman? Now remember, this guy never had time to heal like the ladies like to say. He never had time to heal. And so he went from relationship to relationship. He threw himself into his work and then he just fell in love. Okay, cool. He lied to us, but he definitely loved her. Asking on her behalf in order to assert himself. I'm sorry, what did she do, sir? He definitely loved her. Can you be in a situation, because I know that is it, what was it, Gorilla Grip? He had her name as Gorilla Grip in his phone. Can a woman love on you so much that you just can't leave her alone? This is a question to my fellas, all right? This is a question to my fellas. Have y'all been so enticed by a woman to where you can't leave her alone, and maybe she just did something to you that you ain't never been done to you before or something like that, and so you're going to forever be tied to her? Because that's what it seems like right here. The way that they described each other and how toxic their relationship was and why they left each other alone and all of that, but they still together even though he no longer is getting paid by the district attorney's office? Is that what happens? Y'all saying nope. Y'all ain't never been through that? Y'all ain't never met y'all Fani Willis? Y'all ain't never met y'all Fani Willis? Okay, well, let's get to it. He called her Gorilla Grip for a reason.
Registered to her. Okay. I don't know if it was on a flock hit or if the officer observed some kind of traffic infraction. It wasn't me. I didn't make a traffic stop. He's already gone and got her going. Okay. So whatever the case may be, when you run the tag, it obviously gives us the vehicle information and the registered owner. Okay. And
he didn't even have to get out of the car. That's the interesting thing about it. He could have stayed in the car, stayed inconspicuous, never been on the police cam, but he out there supporting his girl.
Already in the system that has the invalid license, yeah. So upon that, we just verify that it is that person driving or stop the car first.
Ebony said y'all lying.
It's general assumption that the registered owner is the driver of the vehicle.
Yeah.
If you stop it and it's not, okay, have a nice day. But in this case, she was. Yep. So.
Yep. So, just are the keys to the car here?
Yes. Yeah, everything's here. Yeah, everything's in there.
She has 3 numbers.
In the meantime, it got a bumper on it. It's got a bumper on it, so it hasn't been crashed yet. She only been driving without a license.
Listen, your number, a JC, and a third name I didn't hear. Because you're allowed to make Well, she's allowed to get 3 phone calls when she gets in jail.
Yeah, once
I'm gonna just park the car and then go.
once they get the process done, she can make a couple phone calls and call you guys and say, okay, I'm ready. This is how much it is, whatever. I want to say off the top of my head.
Jesus Christ. What? Oh man, I don't know what's wrong with my chat. I think my chat is broken. My chat is broken. I need to disable my chat. I gotta disable my chat. I think that tomorrow we're gonna do a test run. Maybe tomorrow we do it. Maybe tomorrow we do a test run and we just disable the chat completely. What do y'all think about that? Because y'all, my chat is the worst chat. I have to have the most messy chat on YouTube, bar none. I mean, I know y'all love me. I know y'all down. I know y'all rock out with what it is that we do. But man, listen, chasers get money, but they messy. Messy with money and money with messiness is what y'all do. Chasers get money, but good God, Jesus, Lord have mercy. Maybe we need to do a test run. Hey, DJ Ace Productions, maybe we need to do a test run because I hear some of the wildest stuff in this chat. This chat is such a mess. Oh my God. What is munching on him from the back? What does that mean? What does it mean to munch? What does that mean? What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. Now I got the image in my head. Y'all so wild. Oh, Jesus. I think y'all come here just to be messy. Messy. You know what I'm saying? Let me read these super chats. Y'all the worst. Y'all wild. Then we're going to get into this Chase Bank glitch before we get back into the migrants in New York because I like this Cash Jordan video that y'all sent me. Good luck with Corey on Smart Christian's channel. Bottom line, me, believers of God, cannot side or vote for evil, a.k.a. Kamala. Yeah, Corey. Shout out to Corey. I was on Smart Christian yesterday. We did a live stream. He hit me up. I said, yeah, I'll pull up. Let's get to it, big dog. Shout out to him. I did a great live stream with him yesterday. You know I was going off on the chat, right? AJ says, I emailed it to you from Bugman27. Hey, Bugman, I need you to change your email name. Let me hold y'all accountable real quick. Hey, listen. I'm going to stop replying or I'm going to stop even opening up emails if y'all don't get an update. You know you don't have to have the same email from yesteryear, right? Clapping from the back 27. I think I got a clapping from the back 27 also, along with a Bugman 27. Scary Spice 32 at yahoo.com. Y'all know y'all could change y'all emails. You don't have to be Bugman 27. Your name is AJ here. Y'all got to do better. Y'all got to do better, Bugman. Why is it Bugman 27? Jesus Christ. Some of y'all be having some wild... Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Y'all got to stop naming yourselves after your favorite movies and stuff. Abe the Hunter says, don't let them take you with fake pics. Yeah, I ain't gonna do that. I mean, we cool. I just want to know who it is. I'm trying to figure out who it is. That's why I asked the question. What that mouth do? Shout out to Duran Lee. I appreciate you. High Tolerance in the building says Wade pulled up to the scene straight commando and was aggressive and was asking questions. Pookie's friend Ray Ray says, how is your mother a DA and you drive a bust down Nissan Altima with no license, probably going to pick up a guy like me? Hey, Pookie's got to live too. J-Rock24 says you owe 10 push-ups. Get that spice out you. Hey, Smitty says, Not Big Nate still clapping that. You have no shame, sir. Small to ultimate. Oh my God. Says the starter kit is in full effect. J-Rock24 says 10 push-ups to get that spice out of you. Great Way in the building says Nate Shirt says together. Ain't that stupid? Shout out to Messi. Messi says, me and my granny watched the interview you did with Fat Man Scoop last night, and I haven't heard her laugh that hard in a long time. Recipe Scoop. Shout out to my dog Scoop. Shout out to Messi out there showing love to Granny. Ice King says, if only you knew, Anton. DJ Academics dubbed Deke on Fanny. The reason for the Thug Rico evolved around the death of a guy she was sleeping with as well. Oh, Fanny Bad Body with the sassy attitude. Ice King says his name was Donovan Nut Thomas. Nathan trying to be a step crash dummy. You can't really be a step crash dummy once our kids is grown though. They gotta have little kids. Jake Smooth Production says, 80, you know he had the double bag. Charles Blanco says, and these are the people up against Trump. Performance Chip says, but you say he's just a oh baby, you got what I need. And you say he's just a friend. And you say he's just a friend. Oh baby, you. Michael Johnson in the building says Nissan Altimas are to hood chicks as Honda Civics are to Japanese men, or lift kit Chevy trucks are to Mexican contractors. It is what it is, AD. AR Smitty says from the back is crazy. Florida Panoramic says, let me see what Florida Panoramic says. Hold on. 600K. Nate could have finessed this and still been married. Ask the women in the chat if they would have been cool. Yep. Drake Leo 21 says, are black women down bad in 2024? A lot of exposing behavior. Annie Marie in the building says, we are creative regarding groceries. Oh, Jesus. Annie Marie. Annie. That might be an after hours conversation. We're doing after hours tonight. Make sure y'all tapping in the after hours. Jake Smooth says, 80, Chris is telling the truth. He has some uncles telling me the same thing happened to him. Jay Ben in the building says, front butt gonna block the Ultima airbag. L4, what up? L4 says, first it was named Latoya, now it's Anton Ultima, Anton. Oh, Jesus. Anton picking on us. Don't close this chat. This is our safe space. I don't know if it's a safe space in the chat. Jay Ben says she got the monkey paw in there gripping this. Oh, Jesus. Oh, baby, you got what I need. And you say she's just a friend. And you say she's just a friend. Oh, baby. All right, y'all. We got to get over to the next part of the story. Chase. Now, here's the thing that I can't understand before we get into this, all right? What I don't understand is why y'all always telling on yourself. Y'all can't wait to go and run to the internet and run to TikTok and put your face all in the camera. Oh my God, look, it got this new chase glitch. Look at what's going to happen. Y'all can't wait to get out here. Get out here and be able to tell on yourself. Why are people so obsessed with telling on themselves? I don't get that. That is so weird to me. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Apparently, it's a bank glitch at Chase that everybody is talking about, and they can't wait to go and tell all of their friends on TikTok.
The new viral TikTok trend that some users are calling a money glitch or free money hack, it's actually having some serious consequences. Here's what it is. It involves people depositing fraudulent checks into their Chase Bank accounts and withdrawing the money before it's flagged. Well, that's actually fraud. For more on this and how it started online, let's...
Is that what they doing? Hold on, wait. Somebody in the chat, let me know. Is that what y'all doing? Because y'all know that you can deposit the check with the picture. So basically what you doing is you going with the app or you going to the bank with a bad check or something like that. And you withdraw the money because it says that it's available and you think that you're getting away with it. Is that the money glitch? Jesus Christ. Say it ain't so. Somebody tell me that this ain't what the glitch is. That's not a glitch. It's not a glitch. It's you committing fraud, you dummy. Don't you know you either got to pay that money back or you going to get arrested? Y'all love catching a record. You love getting the book thrown at y'all. If that's what y'all saying that the money glitch is, come on, fam. That can't be the money glitch.
An NBC News culture and
I thought
trends
y'all was gonna
reporter
hit me
Colin
with something
Rosenbach.
new.
Colin, good morning.
Oh, you put in your card 3 times and then you pull it out and it's gonna give you 10 times more. Is that the money glitch? Jesus Christ. Yes, he did that in Catch Me If You Can. It was the same thing.
Thank you so much for joining us.
I
Good to see you. So,
that's the money glitch.
how did something that is actually fraud turn into this trend or something viral? When did this glitch start getting all these views?
Good morning, Savannah. So at the end of August, so just a few days ago, people began saying that they had found a quote unquote loophole at Chase Banks where they were depositing checks basically in their own name, depositing it into their own accounts. And these were checks for, astronomical amounts, $30,000, $40,000. And they were saying that, Chase will basically front that money while they wait for the check to clear. And so people are withdrawing the money from these fraudulent checks, and they called it a money glitch. What they didn't realize is that they were going to have to pay that money back when the check inevitably bounced. And so it wasn't a money glitch. This is actually check fraud.
So
and
dumb.
Chase actually released a statement saying, please don't do this. This is not a glitch. This is a fraud. And, they're aware of the situation and they're trying to handle it to the best of their abilities.
What are the consequences for someone who does something like this?
Well, they're going to be, if they don't find themselves in legal trouble and find themselves, facing a case with Chase in the court of law, they're going to be on the hook for a lot of.
You're going to jail. That's what it is. Listen, this is not new. This is not, oh my God, we learning, we doing things differently. Listen, you're going to jail. You're going to whole jail, not half a jail. Whole jail.
Said this.
You're going to jail. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Let me see if I can find out what's going on out in these streets. This is so dumb. Is this real?
So I woke up this morning, and the only thing I've been seeing on my FYP is this Chase glitch. And I want to give a disclaimer. If you're about to do this, don't do it. If you know somebody who's about to do it, don't do it. If you know somebody who's asking you for your personal information to do this, don't give it to them. Because there's a pattern. And I remember a few years ago, Cash App, DoorDash, Bank of America, what else?
So I thought like everything was clear, right up 30K.
So I woke up this.
I want to.
Let me. I'm trying to.
I thought like everything was
do
clear.
too much. Hold on.
Hey, if you did that Chase money glitch.
So I woke up this morning, and the owners, why? Why? That's the question, just why? There's a pattern, and y'all niggas not following it. Y'all not gonna win. Chase about to open up a whole separate division just to chase y'all niggas down because a lot of you morons are doing this shit with your own personal bank accounts. Driving up to Chase and the vehicle that was registered to you. You know those cameras in front of Chase are not for fun, right?
For the past 2 days, I've heard nonstop about this whole Chase Bank glitch scheme, right? And I thought this whole time it was this elaborate, big scammer, like breakthrough or something like that. Turns out the whole time it's just basic check and wire fraud. So for those of you who don't know how it works, basically what these dumb motherfuckers did is they took their own Chase bank account, right? And they made a bad check, a check for like $50,000 or up that they couldn't, like they knew they couldn't cash, right? They wrote a check to themselves that they knew they could not cash. And then what they would do is they would either try and withdraw it or they would try and just wire it to another account and close their Chase bank account.
I didn't know that we were getting this dumb in society. I thought that, honest to God, when I seen this and I seen, who all did I see? I seen Anthony Brian Logan talk about it. I seen the thumbnail. I didn't click on the video yet. And then I had seen What's the other guy that be on Iced Coffee Hour? Whoever the guy is, I forgot what his name is. He's a little small guy or whatever. I seen him talking about it. I thought that y'all was doing some kind of elaborate thing and it was some kind of software engineer behind it and all of this stuff. Are you telling me that y'all are out here making bad checks, cashing it with your account, pulling up to the bank with all of the cameras around that can see you, going into your own account or with somebody else's account where they can basically tell on you, and you're depositing a bad check and trying to pull all of the money out as fast as possible and think that you're not going to get caught?
These fucking idiots, bro. Like, the fact that they call that a glitch is just, how in the fuck are you going to go out there and commit a federal felony and not know what a bad check is, what wire fraud is? You thought it was a glitch. It goes to show that, that episode of South Park where they were doing the whole 9/11 conspiracy all those years ago? It was George W. Bush, the character. He was all like, well, we gotta make people believe it and all because a fourth of the U.S. population is retarded. They weren't lying. That shit's true. That shit's not fiction. That shit's for real. I truly do believe that there is a significant portion of the U.S. population that is in some way, shape, or form mentally handicapped. That is not.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I don't. What is wrong with y'all? What made you think that it was a glitch? What, you thought that it was a mistake the way that they did it? You don't think that they're going to be able to come back and prosecute you as a result of that? Don't you know that that's wire fraud? Don't you know they throw the book at you? You can do years in prison as a result of that. Boy, don't you know you getting on the Don't you know you ain't going to be able to open up another bank account nowhere? And then you're going to be sitting there talking about how the system is against you. Boy, don't you know that you are going under the jail, that it is going to cost you 200 times more to get out of the situation, and you're not even going to be able to go and get a warehouse job at Amazon when they get done with you? Don't you know you catching a felony for that? Don't you know you going in there with Fleece Johnson for that? You didn't know you was going to kick it with Fleece Johnson as a result of that? You thought that you was going to get away with it, that it was over? Jesus Christ, what is wrong with these people? Jesus. I honestly, sometimes I wake up and I think that, because I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I like to review a lot of these videos in real time. And I thought that y'all was going to hit me with the ooh-op shebang. Oh, man, that's deep. They hit it. And then y'all jumped on TikTok to tell on yourself as a result of it. You fool.
Money. In some cases, which we haven't verified whether they're legitimate or not, but some cases people have claimed that they owe $10,000, $30,000, and they're going to owe all this money back to Chase. So there's one, the aspect of committing check fraud, which is going to be obviously a criminal offense. But then there's the other aspect of this, which is you're now going to owe all this money that you reportedly deposited into your account and that you don't have to cover.
Callan, I know in addition to this becoming this trend, this whole glitch thing kind of getting some views online, there's also a big pile on to set the record straight in this particular instance, right?
Let me tell you something. You can't even go to the bank. Dog, for anybody that's ever been a teller, I've never been a teller before, but I am familiar with all of the training because as a person at work technology and user experience, I need to understand every aspect of the bank, from the mortgaging to the servicing to the bank tellers. We got to take training. Every single year, we got to do refresher training to see what the updated laws are, what the thresholds and the amounts are in order for them to report you on a SAR or whatever it is that they put you on, when you're making a deposit, when you're withdrawing, how they ask you questions, how they look at you from a certain lens, depending on if they think that you're money wiring. Don't you know that they even pay, dude, they record you from the patterns. If you go to a branch and you try to withdraw money or you do certain transactions, that you're automatically flagged and put onto a list, especially at Chase Bank. Chase is the biggest bank in the United States of America. They have special software that basically tracks what your patterns are and what your deposits are on a regular basis. So if you get a one-time thing, okay, not a big deal. They may not pay attention to it as much. If you come in and you withdraw a big chunk of money, but that's not in your patterns, Don't you know that they record that? That the tellers don't even tell you that they doing this and they putting you on a special report in order to go and investigate you a little bit more to make sure that everything is all right and that you're not out here finessing? You dummy. Jesus Christ. You really thought you got one over. You got an extra $600, maybe even $2,000. You really thought you got one over, don't you? You got one off. You probably went straight and got you the bust down, middle part bust down for the ladies, got you a chain. Got you a chain with some ice in it, bust down watch. Use up. Y'all some Jesus Christ. Woo!
Yes, there is. On TikTok, there are many videos in which people are saying, this is not a loophole. This is a crime. And, there's a lot of people saying, like, please don't do this. This is fraud. I think a lot of people were just unaware, or maybe it's younger people who are, just getting their first bank accounts, who are just sort of learning how to spend and save money, who thought, oh, this is a way to get fast cash. And their fellow TikTokers are saying, that's not the case. This is a crime. Please don't do this.
Yeah, definitely.
Listen, y'all, look, I'm going to just end it like this and say this. And then we're going to go over to the next video. It's not worth it. Whatever you think that you're about to do that's illegal, trust me, it's not worth it. You're going to spend way more on lawyer fees, or if you ain't got no lawyer fees, your mama ain't got no money, she going to have to put up her house in order to get you out of jail. You're going to have a jailhouse lawyer that walk over to you with some slip-ons on and tell you to plead. You're going to sit here and you're going to be running in the victim Olympics and blaming the system because you can't get ahead because you got felonies on your record now. You're going to have to be sitting in jail with the metal bracelets. Your reputation is going to be ruined. And y'all, it's never, whatever you think seems too good to be true, it is. Whatever you think that is too good to be true, it is. That's just I don't know if y'all have fathers in your lives, but if you never had a father in your life and he didn't tell you that, I'm telling you now. Whatever it is that you think is going to make sense for you, it's not going to make sense for you. It's going to be bad. Michael Russell says, 35th year around the globe, keep adding value, bro. Hey, happy birthday to Michael Russell. Shouts out to you on Cash App. I appreciate you. Also, Rand Wilson in this building says, guess who's going to jail tonight? Y'all better stop with all of this money glitching and throwing these extra terms. I'm sorry. It's called bank fraud. It ain't money glitching. It's called bank fraud. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go over to the last part of the show. GR's Infantry says, Second Amendment is in place to prevent the government and tyranny. Never forget we have a constitutional republic, not a democracy, a.k.a. mob rule, which impedes on the rights of individuals. Shout out to GR's Infantry. I appreciate you for the insight, big dog. Saquon is in the building. Says, school shooting happens in the same state Kamala Harris so happens to be campaigning in. Colt Gray is also the name of the assault rifle. Very sus. I'm going to find out more about it. Good morning, AD. Crazy full speed into a brick wall. Brian Kendrick says, don't write a check that your body can't cash. I remember when everybody was taking out them PPP loans. And then a few months later, they released a whole list of everybody that was taking out PPP loans in every single city. We seen Kanye on there. He wound up paying the money back. It was a whole, people was, oh my God, man, listen, I heard so many stories of people in the hood or people from the hood. Oh man, I own a barbershop, so technically I own a business. All right, okay. Then a month later after that, Biden passed the act that allowed for them to come after you for the next 10 years. Okay, you keep on thinking that you got one over. So stupid. Wealth Building Jeremy says, this leads to federal felonies. There are multiple agencies that are on the lookout for financial crimes like FinCEN, FBI, SEC, and state and local cops. Eric M. is in the building and says, New York Governor Senior Aide Linda Sun and her husband were charged with being Chinese agents and China paid them millions. Yeah, we covered that yesterday, big dog. You wasn't here yesterday? Come on, man. Come on. We covered it yesterday. Randolph Harris says Chase glitch sounds like a Room 9 subject. It is. It wound up being that. Minnesota County Unsolved Crime Channel says Kamala migrants caused the glitch. Brian Kendrick says, my bad, right, LOL, peeps are stupid, wake up. Shout out to you. Tiege Hanley Lee is in the building, says they'll try to open up a bank account with Chime when they get out of prison. So stupid. Drake Leo 21 says they got to pay $30,000 just to get back into black. Eric Harris says fentanyl is a hell of a drug. Messi says, if you cut this chat off, I'm pulling up to you in Motor City in my own. Well, Building Journey says, I was flagged when I wired money for my down payment on my first property. Although my down payment wire is clear from now on, I've had SAR alerts ever since. They don't mess around. They don't play even a little bit. Eric M is in the building, says, UC Harris busing her in the crowd, 12 buses. Shout out to you and Jay Ben. And my dog says mama gonna have to put a lien on her Altima. It's bad out here in these streets. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I haven't talked about or watched a video from Cash Jordan. Cash Jordan is a pretty major YouTuber. He creates some phenomenal videos. I'm not even gonna cap. And Cash Jordan has been documenting every single thing that is going on in New York. And because I wasn't in New York and I haven't been playing along with what's going on in New York in a long time, I haven't really been able to, catch Cash Jordan videos because I've been so enthralled and engulfed in what's going on in an election 2024. But Cash Jordan says that migrants are not only taking over and having problems over in Chicago and Denver and everywhere else, but they're starting to take over apartments in New York City, which also have squatter laws or don't have squatter laws. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's see what Cash got going on over here.
A homeowner in the Bronx started renting a basement apartment to a woman who was from Ecuador. These migrants were gang members who had been arrested over and over.
So gangs are now taking over homes and apartments in New York City. In some cases, they disguise themselves as normal renters, but in other instances, they simply break in and destroy the place. And unfortunately, New York is not the only city in America where this is happening.
Some new video today shows that some are calling gang violence at an apartment complex in Aurora. We see men there entering an apartment building with several weapons, then busting down a door.
A sergeant and two cops pull up to this house. They see a man pointing a gun down a driveway. They chase that man into a basement apartment and they make the arrest. And he's an asylum seeker. He's a migrant.
They used this woman to get them in there, and once one of them was in there, it became like a clubhouse for 8 or 9 of the most dangerous people the landlord had ever been introduced to.
You can see the windows are shattered out. There are things on the roof damaged. Fire officials on the scene tell us the spark was an extension cord that was charging multiple e-bikes. Now, they say this is a property, again, that home right in the middle, that is a problem for the community. They say they have seen people coming and going, and they say it was only a matter of time before this property caused a problem.
And right now, even as we speak, a new migrant caravan is on its way to the U.S.-Mexico border. Those in the caravan say they want to cross into the U.S. before November's election.
They weren't afraid of being arrested.
I wonder why they want to cross into the United States before the November election. Have y'all known that? Have y'all noticed that people are more informed of what's going on with American politics than some of the people that's here? Migrants crossing over here. I have people that is hitting me up all over the world because this is a large platform that a lot of people tap into. And they say, Anton, thank you. I'm tapping in from Japan. Anton, I'm tapping in from Canada. Anton, I'm tapping in from the UK. Anton, I'm tapping in from Mexico. And people are watching the platform and they're like, yo, is migrants that's literally trying to get over here before the November election because they know that if Trump wins, party is over. Party is over. They paying attention to the polls. They watching what's going on. Isn't that sad that we have an administration that is currently so gung-ho and being pro-migrant coming into this country that the migrants know it and that they're leveraging that in order to continue to take advantage of their once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This is like the lottery for them. They can come over here, get EBT, get cash cards, take over apartments. Don't worry about getting arrested. They're going to be let back on the street the next day. This is like kids taking candy out of the candy store when nobody is around there. This is bad.
They weren't afraid of anything. They knew nobody was going to do anything, so they just came back and set up shop like everything was everything.
gang took one over and accidentally burned it down. But nobody's talking about how this problem of gangsters taking over apartments and using them as hideouts tends to happen more in sanctuary cities than anywhere else. And it's been happening here in New York for months, fueled by the proliferation of dangerous gang members through our shelter system, who act as if they're entering an American sanctuary city as someone who's fleeing poverty or persecution, when the only thing on their mind is persecuting the law-abiding. And the reason this is happening in New York and Chicago and Denver and other cities like this is because these gang members understand, according to critics, that they can get away with a lot more in parts of the country where laws are designed to protect them. For example, in New York, it's against the law for police to share the immigration status of someone they arrest with the federal government.
I'm gonna read that super chat shortly, thank you.
And part of the reason gang members operate with such brazenness here is because even if the NYPD arrests them and federal immigration finds out, our police are not allowed to hold that individual until the government can come get them, which means immigration enforcement has to make their own arrest on their own time with zero help from our city. And that brings us to the real reason why we're now witnessing gang activity in this country that we've never seen before. These criminals, once they get here, not only are they protected, they can also take advantage of a very generous social safety net set up for those fleeing extreme poverty. And they take advantage of this generosity to connect not with a path leading to the American dream, which is what most asylum seekers do, but with the criminal underworld. Now, New York in particular finds itself between a rock and a hard place because while our mayor and police realize the dangers we're now facing because of this gang activity, they're fighting an uphill battle against a legal system that keeps criminals out on the street when they come.
Isn't it crazy how we have politicians that's running around and remember, Kamala Harris's landmark talking point is reproductive rights. And I'm going to close the loopholes and continue to tax the rich and make them pay their fair share. You better thank a union member. You better thank a union member. Her landmark talking point is Planned Parenthood, and they're gonna take your right to continue to mutilate your own body, and you should be able to let children go into whatever bathroom and then transition to what they want to do in the first place. And we don't have a loophole to close for our police officers to be able to get these people up out of here that are repeat habitual offenders that came over here with records in the first place. We don't want to close the loopholes that then have illegal migrants that are gang members coming over here and committing some of the worst crimes ever. We want to make sure that we continue to debate a point that nobody is disagreeing about.
Commit minor, non-violent offenses, like engaging in a calm, peaceful shoplifting spree that doesn't hurt anything except the bottom line of a big company, or shut down one of New York's many small, struggling businesses. But critics say we've got another problem because this city and its shelter system are now full of individuals who may not be who they say they are, and may be hiding from a past life as a criminal, or worse, trying to start a new life of crime here in America, which recently happened when gang members took over a building and started a fire that led to 3 law-abiding families losing their homes forever. So fires.
This dude's B-roll footage be on point, don't it?
In New York City, that's nothing out of the ordinary.
He is out in the streets working and recording. I got so much respect for Cash Jordan. I know that his chick probably be like, Jesus, Cash, when you gonna come and spend some time with me? Cash like, yo, I gotta get this B-roll footage. I gotta go and record this engine company in ladder number 9 and number 6. I got to go and shoot this footage. I got to go and record. I got to get it popping. And I got to go back home and edit all of this stuff. People don't know the level of effort that these people do. And that's why I always like to give credit to content creators as far as what they do, because I know how difficult it is to go out there and be recording in the streets, to go home after edited and all of this stuff and upload it. So he doing the work. Shout out to Cash Jordan. I got to give him a lot of credit. Shout out to him.
In fact, these guys put out about 24,000 of them every single year. But recently, the FDNY encountered a fire that was different from the norm, not because of what caused it, but because of who started it and how they did it.
You can take a look at those 2 split homes right behind me there. You can see the windows are shattered out. There are things on the roof damaged. That is where the fire originated, and it all has to do with what was on the backyard of that property that we're going to give our viewers.
So before we see the backyard of this place, it's important to understand who was inside this building illegally that started the fire to begin with. And the home in question is located in Marine Park, a very nice residential neighborhood, and it had been abandoned for a very long time, long enough that junkies were able to get inside and had been squatting there. But according to the New York Post, those junkies rented out the home or part of the home to asylum seekers who then moved in and were living there as well. Neighbors interviewed said problems had been happening at the home for a while and an unknown number of people were living inside of it. They claim there were fights started between people living at the property and neighbors nearby. And what you have here is a critical mass of people living inside one particular property doing things inside of it that are not exactly legal or safe, which is why it burned down.
What was back there was a hoarding of trash that basically acted as an accelerant and kindling for the fire. Now, fire officials on the scene tell us the spark was an extension cord that was charging multiple e-bikes. Now, when that extension cord caught fire, so did the lithium-ion batteries. The flames...
So the backyard of this home, which was valued at $750,000, it was full of stolen e-bikes and trash. Now from the street you can see a lot of the debris that caught on fire in the back that had kind of been hauled out onto this little side area here. But there are some photos of the backyard online. Look at this. It was basically a big dump right there.
This is ridiculous. In my opinion, it's ridiculous. I think that it's disrespectful to the American people. And I don't know why y'all not holding y'all government leaders, the federal leaders, accountable. And when is somebody actually going to ask her the uncomfortable question and then deep dive and then press her? I don't care whether it's scripted. I don't care if it's live. I don't care what it is. But when is somebody going to press her on how they've basically given over our cities and our states over to illegal migrants, and we continue to distract the people with stuff that don't even matter, forcing them to make decisions and have conversations and argue over stuff that's not even relevant? When is somebody going to start asking an uncomfortable question? I would love for somebody to ask her, hey, listen, why does it say that Mayor Andre Dickens and Fani Willis actually met with you at the White House prior to them filing charges on Trump and influencing an election so that y'all can say that he was a felon? Hey, what is the border policy, and why are y'all saying that bipartisan agreement was needed when y'all saying that y'all stemming the flow of migrants, but y'all left the border open for the last 3.5 years? Hey, how come you've never mentioned Laken Riley's name, but you wanted to make sure that you mentioned Sonia Massey? You said you called the family of Sonia Massey. Did you ever call the family of Laken Riley? And what is it? What did you do that actually, and why were you this? And what did you do on that part? And why is this piece of legislation, and why is this part of the border security deal that he wound up getting? How come you don't mention that? And why do you keep saying, like, I want to know. I want to know what's going on and why people are not asking uncomfortable questions. How are they able to dodge this, and why? Also ask Charlemagne, ask Roland Martin, ask all of those people. And let me say this about Roland Martin. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to get y'all up out of here. We're about at the 2-hour mark. Let me say this about Roland Martin. I see you, roly-poly. I see you. You know what you do? You go and you attack and you do whole shows, multiple different shows on Michaela Montgomery. You cherry pick on the people that don't know no better because you know that they don't know no better. So you would go and you would talk about Jermaine Dupri. You'll go and try to jump on Michaela because you know that she don't have a YouTube platform to be able to go, say what you want to say. But I see you keep dodging real men. See, you don't want to talk to a real man. And so you cherry pick your opponents based off of what your little whack beta male platform is talking about. But I'm waiting on you. I think that you trash. I think that you a paid shill. I think that you're corny. I 100% think that you are afraid to ever face a real man. And so you'll pick and choose on her, but you'll dodge the people that you know got real smoke for you. Because, see, I got the money. I got the visibility. I got the ability to be able to deal with it, all of that. And so all of you old guard suckers that is being held up by people that don't really know any better, all of that is going to be addressed. We coming for all of y'all. 100%. I have no love. I have nothing stopping me. I don't have anybody that got any strings on me. I think that you trash, and I think that it's corny for you to continue to go after a woman when you know that it's a man waiting on you with brass knuckles. And I'm not saying physically. I'm talking about when it comes to these talking points. Y'all will never face me. Y'all so afraid that you're going to get destroyed on your own platforms or at a neutral site that you will never, ever face a person like me. Ever. You will never face a person like me. That's the facts. Anyways, let me continue on. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock out with me. And shout out to Cash Jordan for continuing to bring visibility to an issue. Let me read a couple more of these super chats and I'm going to get y'all up out of here. Savannah says, what's up, bro? I have $35,000 in savings, $12,000 in stocks. Why do you have $35,000 in savings? But I also have $4,000 in credit card debt. Why do you have $4,000 in credit card debt if you got $35,000 in savings? So I'm going to answer your question. Should I take $4,000 out of my savings or stocks? Never take money out of your portfolio. Pay that little $4,000 off. Don't ever rack that up again and pay interest over to a bank. As a matter of fact, I think that you only need about a couple $1,000 stacked up into, you only need a couple $1,000. The rest of that money, the other $29,000 that you got left, that should be in your portfolio. Anton, but I need a savings account. No, you don't. You can get to the money within a day or two if you just need to get to emergency savings. And I don't even know no emergency that you would need that type of money for within the next 1 or 2 business days unless you're going to jail. Your brokerage account is supposed to act as though it's a savings account, except for the money is invested and it continues to make you more money, depending on what it is that you're investing in and if you actually making informed decisions based off of the 8 things that we teach inside of the Patreon as far as Stock Club. Get rid of that savings account, hold on to $2,000, take the other $29,000 and invest it, put it in your brokerage account because that can act as a bank account also, and pay off that credit card debt, bro. Don't ever sit on no credit card debt. And do not liquidate your portfolio. Make sure you invest and let your money continue to beat the rate of interest because it's not sitting in a savings account. I don't like that savings account, John. So get up out of that. Yeah, that's a great question, but shout out to you. There's no reason why you should be sitting on $35,000 in cash unless you're trying to pay something off. You got some contractors you need to pay or you're about to invest in something. You can have that money working for you. It's all just migrant propaganda though, right? Kid Chameleon, shout out to you. Lee Barton is in the building, says, we got sleeper cells coming over here that don't like us and willing to do anything to harm us. I pray for America's safety and protection. We need way more than prayer too. Men get stronger in every aspect of life. Thanks, AD. Shout out to you. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Yeah, man. I don't respect none of these people. Messi says she used Vanguard. I don't like to promote other people, but I use Fidelity. So make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest on earth. We back at it tonight on After Hours. So make sure y'all tap in. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Back at it tomorrow morning. Peace. Don't fumble the bag.